Hi, I'm Halal Bae from Canada's Drag Race Season 3, and you're watching Xtra Magazine's After the Sashay.
Hi, Halal. I'm so sorry to see you here. I hate that you're here.
You know what? So does everybody else.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. Reddit thinks you were robbed. Were you
Yep.
robbed?
100% robbed, blind, left dead in the streets like a raccoon. Okay? They did me dirty. They ran me over.
So tell me, should Fierce have been in the bottom?
Oh, 100% Fierce should have been in the bottom. Like,
Why do you think that?
Well, her garment was not as good as mine. She had help from every single person in the workroom. She didn't really serve it. I mean, it was a piece of fabric wrapped around her waist. But you know what? She's loud, and she causes drama. So she's good television. So I think that that's why they kept her. And also, I mean, mind you, Canada really doesn't want an outspoken pro-Palestinian queen on the show either.
You think that Canada isn't ready for that? They don't want it? What do you think?
I definitely think Canada's not ready for that. Canada doesn't even recognize Palestine as a state or as has any autonomy whatsoever. So I do think that there was a lot of fear behind the scenes of me doing or saying something that goes against the grain.
But my drag is very political, bringing up the issues that really matter to us as a community.
In the trailer for the season, we got to see a glimpse of a dress that you wear, and it says, "Stop displacing us." Can you talk to me a bit about the meaning behind that look?
I mean, my grandmother is Palestinian, my entire mom's side of the family. And so when the occupation started in the 40s, she was kicked out of her home in Jerusalem. So was the rest of my family. And that occupation continues to this day. I mean, even beyond the borders that of Israel, currently, which, mind you, I would keep, right? Like they're a state, they made their place. It's been there for 70 years. There's no changing that. But right now we're even facing, illegal settlements that go against international criminal law. There has been multiple times of trying to pressure Israel into doing anything that doesn't resemble settler colonial occupation. And so the reason I wanted to bring that dress to the main stage was to be able to show that it's still going on. And it was just my way of bringing that cause out to the forefront and just trying to plead with anybody who would listen to at least stop removing people from their homes, stop creating refugees, and just give them a place to be able to live and be happy.
What kind of a reaction did you see to that dress when it was put out in the trailer? What did people say to you?
I've definitely got a lot of hate from a lot of Zionist groups, Zionist lobbies, both here and abroad, that are calling me all kinds of things, sending me a lot of death threats. I've given a lot of hate. Obviously the label of being called anti-Semitic, which is absurd to me because Semitic includes Arabic and the people who lived in that place before. So if I'm anti-Semitic, then I'm anti myself in a way. But it's also very untrue, right? I obviously have, no issue with, the lives and the prosperity of Jewish people. And I've had shows and friends and support people of the Jewish community here in Canada. I just want to be able to get some, respect and get some recognition of Palestinian autonomy and their lives. And I don't think that that's a lot to ask for.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear that you got death threats. That's obviously incredibly uncalled for. But personally, I like to see a queen who is political, and I am glad that you are out there making your voice heard.
Thank you.
Also... Yeah, you got to speak on the show a little bit about being queer in a majority Muslim country.
Yep.
What does it mean to you now to represent as a Muslim-born queer person who gets to be on television?
Before it got announced, that was one thing that I was very afraid of because, you're going really against a lot of long-held beliefs in that region that, go hundreds of years, just as Christianity and other religions have opposed queer issues and queer rights in the past. And I was really cautious and kind of hesitant about how much I can put out there without receiving such a backlash. But honestly, it's been the complete opposite. I have received nothing but support and love and admiration from people in my community, from the Middle East, from like Muslims living abroad, from Muslims living in the Middle East as well, who are just like watching the show and being like, you're inspiring me to, live authentically, to be able to create a conversation. And honestly, that's what I wanted to do, was really show up and show out and tell people, you know what, there are queer people in the Middle East. You can be queer and Muslim. You can be, Muslim raised and still be a queer person living your best life. My entire family's Muslim. I still see them. I still celebrate with them. And they accept me for who I am. They know I do drag. They know everything about me. And so the conversation is being pushed forward. And what's interesting is that, a lot of people don't know this. They think, oh, the Middle East, everything is so clamped down. Everybody's whatever. But there's actually a really, really vibrant queer underground in so many of these countries that, people just don't know because of how much oppression they're faced by the state. And so it's absurd to me when people are like, oh, that part of the world doesn't, or that, and they kind of group us all in. And you're like, but you don't know anything about us. You don't know anything that we've lived through. You don't know what communities we built and what communities we have that are very similar to the communities you had back in the 50s and 60s.
You said that you hope to become an MP in the future. Is a political run really in your future?
It really is. I mean, it's something that I've been thinking about even before I started to do drag. I just never, before obviously I wasn't a citizen yet, and there was just like barriers to me being able to meaningfully engage in politics. That changed in 2016 when I became a citizen. And it's just fueled the fire in me to be able to do the things that I see not being done. You look at the news and you look at the people that are representing you and you're like, you can do more for us. You can do more for the people that you're representing, and you're not. I think I can really make a lot of change here. And I definitely want to, I'm starting to put in the feels. I'm starting to try to talk to the right people. So, I mean, if you have a connection to Jagmeet, holler, let him call me.
I love your mustache. Now, tell me, what does it mean?
I see you're doing the whole mustache thing too, whatever. You're copying me, it's okay.
Listen,
I'm a trendsetter. Whatever.
I've been inspired by you, and I love the mustache myself. What does it mean to incorporate something that is so mask-presenting and so associated with masculinity into feminine drag?
I think it's really important for me because I identify as being genderqueer. But obviously because of the way that I look, for the most part, I walk into the world, everybody sees me as masculine, they address me as male. But I really live on the spectrum. I bounce between femininity and masculinity on the daily. And I don't necessarily get to show my feminine side as much. But what I wanted to do was to really keep that aesthetic flow through, because I wanted to show that, you can still be hairy and be feminine. You can still look a certain way and be considered femme. There's no sort of, barriers to what, how gender should be presented. And for me, it really is just a way and a big FU to anybody who says that I'm either, too femme or too masked or too this. It doesn't faze me and it doesn't bother me. And I like being able to be both and neither all at once.
You've been vocal in the past about Drag Race needing to diversify even before you were cast on Canada's Drag Race. We have now seen many more trans women. We saw Gottmik, who is a trans man. There has been some steps towards inclusion. I'm wondering, what are the next steps that you would like to see the show take to become more inclusive and more reflective of the drag world and our wider queer community?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, like it really, over the past just few years, really has there been an explosion, and I think that has been brought on by the different franchises of Drag Race. I think that there was a lot of risks that the original series didn't want to take that others did by casting hairy queens or casting AFAB queens, stuff like that. I think what a great addition kings would be to the show is, I mean, come on. Drag is drag. Drag is a play of gender. Doesn't really matter if you're cosplaying, a queen, you're king, So it really, the bounds are endless. And I think that there's so much more that we can represent. And that's really the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's so much more of gender expression and drag that can be on the show.
Did you think you won that lip sync?
I think I won that episode. I don't know where you're coming from, but hello, Bomb should have been the runner-up. I should have won.
Last question. What is next for Halal Bae?
So definitely a lot of projects that I'm currently working on that I don't want to reveal at the moment. But honestly, the most thing that I'm going to delve into is my political action work, my social work, community building, and really just work towards, that run for office. I really do want to represent my community. I really want to put in the work. And I think that having me as a rep for queers and Muslims in the city would be something of value. Thanks for watching Extras After the Sashay. You can find me on social medias on Instagram @Halal Bae or on Twitter @The Halal Queen.